Good afternoon and welcome back to Houston Real Estate Today, Houston's most informative hour. Great real estate information provided by great guests. And we've got some great guests on the phone and great guests in the studio today. So welcome back. Any part that you missed and you feel sorry about, you can check out our blog by Monday, HoustonRealEstateToday.com, and get all the information you need. I want to go back to Marco real quick, if it's okay with Tommy, that he was making a great point about new home builders and how important it is that they reach out to this Hispanic market. Excellent. Well, we've got to have you back on the show, hopefully with one of the builders when you're back in Houston or on the phone. And pleasure, and thank you so much for being on. Don't go away, because I want to ask you for your best tip when we come back. But now we turn our attention to Tommy Lorenzo, Vice President of Urban Financial. And Tom is in charge of all the product and interest rates for all the loan officers over there. I think about 30 of them. And he's great with the information on what's happening in the mortgage market today, because it was the mortgage meltdown and the dissolve of adjustable rate mortgages, and so subprime loans that's really caused a lot of the setback in our real estate industry. But Tom, it's great to have you back on the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Stephen. Great show today.
It's been a great show, I agree. And just had a couple questions for you. First, if someone has one of those adjustable rate mortgages that they're maybe cursing at this moment, that's about to adjust, what can they do?
Well, there's a couple of things. The best scenario would be if someone has an adjustable rate mortgage and they're in pretty decent credit shape, then they need to call a mortgage professional and see if there's not the ability to refinance out of the adjustable rate at this time. The rates at the moment are the best that they've been in over 3 years. They're extraordinary for various reasons, numerous Fed cuts, the market conditions, stock market being down a little bit. All of this plays a role in how rates are established, and at the moment rates are incredible. So I would say that's option number one. If the credit is not pristine, if you have one of those really high rates that is about to adjust, you may also be eligible for the Mortgage Forgiveness Debt Relief Act of 2007, also known as the President's Mortgage Freeze Plan. There's a number that you can call. It's an alliance that has been set up by FHA and the Treasury Department, and the alliance is called Hope Now. The hotline number is 888-995-HOPE. That's 888-995-HOPE. It's estimated that about 20% of adjustable rate mortgages may be eligible for this rate freeze, and the rate freeze is good for 5 years.
No kidding.
That's right. So it's certainly worth a shot. I would certainly call a mortgage professional, and also call this hotline and see if you can't get helped one way or the other.
That's great information. Thank you, Tom. What I know you're responsible for, as I said, for for working the right interest rates and programs and products for your borrowers. How do you do that? How do you find the right fit every time?
Rates and programs are really customized. They have to be customized for each particular client. The first thing that I try to determine is what type of a product that people are interested in. 90% of the time I sell fixed rate mortgages. It has to be a pretty particular situation, a pretty special situation in which I would sell someone an ARM or an interest-only product. It's usually to borrowers who are pretty savvy, possibly some of the jumbo borrowers that are out there, and they're really looking for something that's specific. They may not be in the home for a very long time. For various reasons, they don't want a fixed-rate mortgage. and but those are really few and far between. As far as rates are concerned, I'll determine a rate based on a few questions that I'll ask a client. First and foremost, is this going to be their primary residence or is it an investment property? Rates are different depending on which one of those scenarios are in place.
Sure.
Credit score. Someone's credit profile has a great deal to do with what kind of rate can be established. The level of down payment. For example, if someone puts 20% down, they certainly may be eligible for a best rate opportunity. Whereas if they put 5 or 10% down, the rate is still probably going to be very good, but not quite as good as the 20% down, for example. So depending on the level of down payment, that will also affect how rates are established. Loan size. I mentioned jumbo a minute ago. The non-conforming loan amount is anything above $417,000. So anything under that receives a conforming rate, and anything above that is a jumbo rate or a non-conforming rate. Non-conforming rates typically are higher. They're just considered in the higher risk category by lenders. Not so much because of what's happened here in Houston, but because of what's happened nationwide. California, for example, probably 45% of the loans that are sold in California are non-conforming. Manhattan, for example, most anything you find, and even if it's a one-bedroom in Manhattan, is going to be well in excess of $500,000. So
That's
it's
why I
almost
moved here.
exclusively, yeah, it's a good reason. So all of these factors play a role in determining how to establish someone's interest rate.
Excellent. Well, I always like to ask, because I know a lot of the consumers out there do not have that so-called pristine credit. We all seem to have a credit skeleton in our closet for one reason or another. How do we make sure that we have the ability to purchase a home at American Dream? And we've talked on the show many times about how homeowners make better citizens. They pay taxes. They vote. It's just it's different than a rental profile. So what would you recommend to me if I wanted to buy a home, particularly with such low interest rates now and great product on the market by both builders and by realtors? What would you recommend to me?
There are certainly still some programs out there that are available for those with less than pristine credit. The biggest and best one is an FHA loan. That is certainly available still and is probably growing by leaps and bounds at the moment. In fact, I know that it is. With the demise of the subprime market, many of those borrowers who were formerly able to obtain subprime loans are now moving into FHA loans. And it's a much safer program, a much sturdier program. It's backed by the government, so there's some protection and guarantees for the lenders when it comes to that. So I would say there's still a tremendous opportunity for those in that category to still obtain an FHA loan. Best thing I would advise is to contact a mortgage professional and have them do a profile on you and see if you're eligible for one of those.
Now, obviously, someone can contact you directly for a loan, but do you recommend they go to a realtor first?
Well, you know, that's egg before the, how's it go? The cart before
Chicken
the horse.
before the egg.
There you go. It really, realtors love it when they have a borrower that comes to them that's been pre-approved and pre-qualified. So that certainly is, you know, one you can do one or the other. If you come to me, I can certainly refer you to someone that's wonderful, like Roger.
Like Roger.
And but certainly it's certainly wise to get pre-approved before you start looking, so that you know at least in the ballpark that you should be shopping.
Excellent. Well, also, I know being of Hispanic descent, with Mom being Mama Ninfa, Ninfa's Restaurants, family business.
Right.
You are bilingual. Any tips on working with Hispanic buyers or sellers that you want to add to what Marco had?
I was glad that Marco was on the program. He
I
brought
know,
up
too.
a
He did a
lot
great
of,
job, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He brought a lot of interesting points about the affluency, the emerging affluency of the Hispanic market. That was amazing. I was really impressed that 45% of the market here in this area will be Hispanic by the year 2010. That's pretty impressive. So it is gratifying, really, to be of Hispanic descent and see that it's becoming more and more a factor in our marketplace and around the country, for that matter.
And certainly it's an advantage to be bilingual, and in today's real estate market, you don't want to disqualify anyone, and you have an opportunity to sell a home to a Hispanic buyer, then absolutely that's a great market.
Indeed.
So anyway, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, Tommy. You're a wealth of information, and I think it's a great tie-in with what Marco was saying about that Hispanic market. And do you have many loan officers that are bilingual? Because you probably need to bring on some more.
There's certainly a few. I'm one of two in our office that are bilingual. So I usually field those calls.
And you'd say Yame. See, my 1 year of Spanish 1 and 2 years of Spanish 2 really
That's not
paid
bad.
off. Anyway, we're so pleased you were on the show. Tell us how someone can get a hold of you or
Certainly.
the Urban Financial folks.
Sure. www.urbanfinancial.com, and there's a way to apply online if you're so inclined, or you can certainly call us at our office number 713-278-2985.
Great information. Always good to have you on the show. We're going to be right back with more great information on Houston Real Estate Today. It's been a fantastic show. If you missed any part of it, go to HoustonRealEstateToday.com. Any questions for my fabulous guests, Marco or Roger or Tommy, email us at info@HoustonRealEstateToday.com. Our best tips coming up in our last segment, so don't go away.